You know that feeling when you hold a piece of silver bullion, that satisfying, hefty feeling in your hand? But how can you be sure that feeling, that perceived weight, actually matches its true value? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on weighing your silver so you can turn that gut feeling into a cold, hard number. This is it. This is the big question every single investor has to ask. The number stamped on that coin or bar, well, it's a promise. But in the world of precious metals, you've got to verify. So that beautiful piece of silver you've got, is it really 1 troy ounce? Let's find out. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why this matters so much, the link between weight and your money. Then we'll get our tools together, go through the super important calibration ritual, weigh the silver itself, and finally, figure out what those numbers on the screen actually mean. It's a straight shot to getting some real confidence in your collection. So, first things first, why are we making such a big deal about this? I mean, in everyday life, a gram here or there, who cares, right? But with precious metals, it's a totally different story. Weight is value. Even the tiniest little difference, when you multiply it across your whole stack, can add up to some serious money. Making sure the weight is right is literally step one in protecting your investment. And that's really what this is all about. This isn't just about getting a number on a little screen. It's about that peace of mind you get from knowing, without a shadow of a doubt, exactly what you own. It's about swapping out assumptions for absolute certainty. Okay, so let's get practical. To get a result you can actually trust, you need the right gear. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? Well, it couldn't be more true here. Getting your toolkit right sets the stage for everything else and makes sure that final number is rock solid. Here's the essential lineup. You'll need a decent digital scale, one that measures to at least 2 or 3 decimal places. But the real secret weapon, the MVP of this whole operation, is that certified calibration weight. That's your source of truth. It's what you use to teach your scale what, say, 100 grams actually feels like. Seriously, don't skip this. And of course, a nice, stable, level surface is your foundation. You know, it's kind of wild just how sensitive these scales are. Your environment is every bit as important as your tools. A tiny little slant on your table, a draft from a window you didn't even notice was open, or even just the vibrations from someone walking by can completely mess up your reading. You've got to create your own little quiet, stable laboratory. Find a sturdy table away from all that chaos. And that brings us to the step that honestly most people skip, and it's the most critical one, the calibration ritual. Seriously, think of it like a guitarist tuning their guitar before a huge concert. It doesn't matter how amazing of a player they are. If that guitar is out of tune, the music's going to sound awful. Your scale is your instrument, and calibration is how you tune it to perfection. So what even is calibration? It's really simple. It's the process of teaching your scale what a specific weight is supposed to be. You put that certified weight on it, you hit the calibration button, and you're basically telling the scale, hey, this is exactly 100 grams. Remember this. You're fixing any little electronic drifts and getting it back to a perfect, true 0. And look, it's so easy to do. Just turn on the scale, give it a minute to warm up and get settled, then just follow the instructions for your model to get into calibration mode. It'll tell you when to place your weight on the platform, and the scale just does its thing. It'll let you know when it's perfectly tuned up and ready to rock. Okay, we've done the prep work, our tools are ready, our scale is perfectly calibrated. It is time for the main event. This is that moment where all that careful setup pays off and we finally get the number we've been working towards. Let's do it. But wait, one last quick thing. See that tear or 0 button? That's your reset button. Before you put anything on the scale, you hit that to make absolutely sure the display reads a perfect 0.000. This way, you know you're only measuring your silver and nothing else. All right, here we go. Double check that it says 0. Now, gently, don't drop it. Place your silver coin or bar right in the middle of the scale. Okay, now comes the hardest part. Just wait. Don't touch the table, don't breathe on it. Just let those numbers dance around until they settle on one final, stable reading. That's it. That's your measurement. And here's the pro tip for you, and it's a big one. The sensors inside a digital scale, they're most accurate right in the center of that platform. If you place your item off to the side, you can actually introduce tiny little errors. So for the best possible precision, always aim for dead center. Okay, you've got your number. Awesome. But a number by itself is just, well, it's just a number. The final step here is to figure out what it all means, to turn that raw data into real, useful information about your silver. Now, pay close attention because this is a super important point that trips a lot of people up. Precious metals are measured in troy ounces, not the regular old ounce. That's called an avoirdupois ounce that we use for, like, food at the grocery store. And as you can see, a troy ounce is actually heavier. It's almost 10% heavier than a standard ounce. Knowing this is the key, so you don't accidentally think your silver is way overweight when it's actually perfect. This is your magic number, 31.103 grams. That is the gold standard, or, well, the silver standard, for 1 troy ounce. This is what you're measuring against. If your 1 ounce coin weighs in right at this number, or even a tiny bit over, you are golden. A little bit of an overage is pretty common and totally fine. A significant underedge, though, that's a major red flag. And that right there is the payoff. By going through these simple steps, you've done way more than just weighing a piece of metal. You've actually verified its value, you've built real confidence in your investment, and best of all, you've earned that security and peace of mind that can only come from knowing for yourself, firsthand. So there you have it. You've walked the path from doubt to certainty. But, weight is just one piece of the puzzle. Now that you've confirmed its substance, what about its authenticity, its purity, its history? You've taken a huge first step today, but the journey of discovery? Well, it's just getting started. What will you verify next?